Daily Bible reading, Deuteronomy chapter 14. You are children of the Lord your God. You shall not gash yourselves or shave the front of your heads because of the dead. For you are a people consecrated to the Lord your God. The Lord your God chose you from among all other peoples on earth to be his treasured people. You shall not eat anything abhorrent. These are the animals that you may eat: the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the deer, the gazelle, the roebuck, the wild goat, the ibex, the antelope, the mountain sheep, and any other animal that has true hooves which are cleft in two and bring up the cud. Such you may eat. But the following which do not bring up the cud, or have true hooves which are cleft through, you may not eat: the camel, the hare, and the daemon. For although they bring up the cud, they have no true hooves. They are unclean for you. Also the swine, for although it has true hooves, it does not bring up the cud. It is unclean for you. You shall not eat of their flesh or touch their carcasses. These you may eat of all that live in water. You may eat anything that has fins and scales, but you may not eat anything that has no fins and scales. It is unclean for you. You may eat any clean bird. The following you may not eat: the eagle, the vulture, and the black vulture, the kite, the falcon, and the buzzard of any variety, every variety of raven, the ostrich, the nighthawk, the seagull, and the hawk of any variety, the little owl, the great owl, and the white owl, the pelican, the buzzard, and the cormorant, the stork, any variety of heron, the hoopie, and the bat. All winged swarming things are unclean for you. They may not be eaten. You may eat only cleaned winged creatures. You shall not eat anything that has died a natural death. Give it to the stranger in your community to eat, or you may sell it to a foreigner. For you are a people consecrated to the Lord your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. You shall set aside every year a 10th part of all the yield of your sowing that is brought from the field. You shall consume the tithes of your new grain and wine and oil, and the firstlings of your herds and flocks in the presence of the Lord your God, in the place where he will choose to establish his name, so that you may learn to revere the Lord your God forever. Should the distance be too great for you, should you be unable to transport them, because the place where the Lord your God has chosen to establish his name is far from you, and because the Lord your God has blessed you, you may convert them into money. Wrap up the money and take it with you to the place that the Lord your God has chosen, and spend the money on anything you want: cattle, sheep, wine, or other intoxicant, or anything you may desire, and you shall feast there in the presence of the Lord your God, and rejoice with your household. But do not neglect the Levite in your community, for he has no hereditary portion as you have. Every 3rd year you shall bring out the full tithe of your yield of that year, but leave it within your settlements. Then the Levite, who has no hereditary portion as you have, and the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow in your settlements, shall come and eat their fill, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all the enterprises you undertake.